Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here for the next installment of our Stormwater Educational Series. I am back with Dr. Chris Obropta, who is the Extension Specialist of Water Resources for the Rutgers Cooperative Extension. And we have a presentation on a rain garden rebate program. So without further ado, Dr. Obropta, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Avery. So, I'll talk a little about this rain garden rebate program we've been running throughout New Jersey, and it's been very successful, and people are very excited about it. A lot of people ask about how they can do it in their community. So, we kind of put this together to maybe give people some guidance on moving forward with something like this. Um, so, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when it rains and what the real problems are, and development, existing impervious cover, the solutions, which we're proposing is in a lot of cases rain gardens, and then how the rebate program works to help homeowners be able to get these gardens in the ground. Um, when it rains, the rain gets absorbed by the plants, it infiltrates into the soil. Some of the water will evaporate. Um, but what we're really concerned about is the water that runs off the land. Okay. Now, a lot of us are saying that, well, we have to get new development to do their part and they have to do more and more and more. Well, let me tell you right now that even if the new development doesn't allow any pollution or stormwater running off their property in the future, we're still going to have flooding in New Jersey. We're going to have water quality problems. We have to go into the existing development and retrofit it with systems that are going to manage stormwater. And that's the only way we're going to fix the waterways in New Jersey. Okay. So, what is stormwater? Well, when it rains or the snow melts, that water that comes and picks up pollution from the land and carries it to our streams or lakes to the bay, that's stormwater runoff, and that's what we're trying to focus on. Okay. So the problem that we're looking at is stormwater runoff from existing development is destroying the health of our waterways and causing localized flooding. Okay, so really we're focusing just in this presentation about existing development that's already here in New Jersey. And as we developed the state, we added more impervious surfaces. Impervious surface is any surface that water won't pass through. So it's your rooftop, it's the driveway, it's the parking lot, it's the sidewalk. So under natural conditions, about 10% of the annual rainfall runs off. We get about 45 inches of rain a year in New Jersey. So 4 to 5 inches of that would kind of run off on an annual basis. When we start adding single family homes, 1 to 2 acre lots, we get about 20% runoff. We start adding more dense homes, quarter-acre, half-acre lots, we got 30% runoff. And then we have downtown urban areas, we get about 55% runoff. So you can see that the trick is how do we get 20 and 30 and even 55% to go back and look like 10%. And that's what we're trying to accomplish, right? So the way to do that is we have to minimize the impact of stormwater runoff from impervious surfaces. We have to control the water that's coming off of these hard surfaces that won't let water pass through and go into the soil. So lots of impervious surfaces here: rooftops, driveways, sidewalks, garage roofs. You can see them all here, all throughout New Jersey. We talk a little bit about connected versus disconnected impervious surfaces. This is an example of a connected impervious surface. So as it rains, all the rainfall goes down the gutter, goes down the downspout, gets piped to the road, and goes right to the catch basin. We would say this rooftop is directly connected to the stream or to the lake or to the bay, wherever this catch basin dumps the water. Nowhere along the path does the water get infiltrated into the lawn or treated. It all gets piped right to the road. So there's no level of flow reduction or treatment of that rainwater from the rooftop. Okay, one solution is the rain garden. And we always talk about these. Why do we pick rain gardens? Well, they're inexpensive. They're easy to build and they can be beautiful. They can be incorporated into almost any landscape. So let's install a rain garden and fix the problem. A rain garden, very simply, is a shallow landscape depression designed to capture and treat and infiltrate stormwater at the source before it becomes runoff. So as the water is coming off of your downspout, the rain garden is going to capture it before it flows across your lawn, before it flows onto the road and picks up pollution and moves it to the stream. We're going to capture it before it becomes that runoff. Okay. And this is the blue house picture that we use in a lot of our presentations. I usually use my rain garden presentation I just talked about a little bit earlier. The idea with this is that water flows from the center of the road to the curb. It travels along the curb and eventually gets to a catch basin or the stream, and it gets discharged with all the pollution that's carrying along the way. In this case, what we're doing is we're actually letting the water travel along the curb and then fill in this rain garden. So this rain garden will fill about 6 inches of water, and that water will slowly percolate into the ground. Once this rain garden is filled with water, any additional water will keep going along the curb down to the next rain garden, or right out to the stream. I like showing this picture because it shows how beautiful a rain garden can look. It really adds aesthetic value to the house. So it's something that we're really trying to get more people to take advantage of. Here's a cross section of a rain garden. You can see where we have the inlet where the water comes in. There's a stone area, and that stone area is meant to slow the water down because it's coming very fast out of that inlet, or out of that downspout. This rain garden bottom is flat, so it fills up uniformly with water, 3, 6, maybe 12 inches of water. If we get more rain than the rain garden can handle, the water will overflow over here over the stone area once again, as the stone is put there to prevent any kind of erosion. So this is a standard rain garden system. Here's what they look like. Simply can be put into almost any existing landscape, incorporated into it. And it can look like a natural landscape, can look more like a wildflower area. It does a great job for managing water quality, for improving the water before it gets to the bay. It also can help reduce the amount of water that's leaving the property and help reduce some localized flooding. Okay. We have a picture here that shows how to select a site for the rain garden. You don't want to put a rain garden right next to your house if you have a basement, because there's a good chance the water will go into the rain garden and infiltrate your basement. So you want to keep it at least 10 feet away from the building. If you don't have a basement, we still want to keep it a few feet away from the house, because we don't want mold and mildew from that wetness to be on the side of the house. We separate the rain garden from the septic system so they don't interfere with each other. The rain garden is meant to go in a spot that allows water to infiltrate into the ground. So if you have a soggy spot or a spot where there's always standing water, it's probably not a great spot for a rain garden because the water table may be really high. Or that spot may be very compacted, so the water can't get into the ground. If that's the case, we could certainly uncompact it and put a rain garden there. But if the water table is high, we really can't install a rain garden there. The other thing we look at with this picture is this picture on the side with the tree, and you can see these dotted red lines from the drip line. What we typically take as a rule of thumb is the roots for the tree will extend out up to the drip line. So that's a good estimation of how the roots go. Now, if you've got a silver maple at your house, roots go pretty much a lot further than that, but this is a good rule of thumb for most trees. So what we try to do is, if we're building a rain garden, we try to stay out of this area under the tree, or if we do, be very careful about hand digging it and making sure we're not disturbing the roots. The worst thing to do would be to build a beautiful rain garden but kill that beautiful tree. So we have native vegetation here. We show, we got the cardinal flower here, blue flag iris, black-eyed Susies. So lots of different plants. A lot of them are pollinator plants, all native to New Jersey. The idea is that native plants will do great in our climate and don't need as much water, don't need as much fertilizer, and can grow very naturally in these systems. So here's a picture of a rain garden at a house. Very beautiful, incorporated into existing landscape. So the question that we have is, how do we get homeowners to install these rain gardens? So we thought about this for a long time here at Rutgers, and realized, well, is there some sort of incentive we can provide homeowners to doing this, and maybe some technical assistance, right? So we created this rain garden rebate program. The idea was that we would have basically a 45-minute educational session, so very similar to what I've just talked to you about, but in a lot more detail about what a rain garden is, how to build one, and giving people a little bit more detail about it. After that 45-minute session, they typically sign up for a 30-minute session. So each homeowner would say, I'll sign up for a 30-minute session the next week. They'd bring us some pictures of their house, maybe a sketch of their property. And then we actually sit down with an engineer and a landscape architect and design a rain garden with them specifically for their home. At the end of that 30-minute session, they actually have a design plan that they take home with them. Now, once they build a garden, we had a program, we had some funding available from different sources, and we were paying $3 per square foot. So if you build a 150 square foot rain garden, you would get a Visa gift card from us for $450. So it's really a great way to get people to do it. Now, is that enough money to hire someone to build a garden? Probably not, but it is enough money to pay for the mulch and the plants and some of the stone. So if you're building yourself, it can really help save you some money. Okay. Um, so these were the technical sessions that we would do. A lot of it was in the classroom. Sometimes you go outside and show people what we're talking about disconnecting downspouts. Sometimes we show people how to do the test for make sure soil permeability works. So these are things. This is actually, I think this was done at Duke Farms here. So this looks like their classroom there. Um, then we have these handouts that we give people to check the percolation of your soil, to make sure that your soil does infiltrate. Very simple test. You're digging a hole 8 inches deep, filling it with water, letting it drain, filling it again, and then timing how fast it drains. If it drains at least a ½ inch per hour, it's a great spot for a rain garden. We have checklists like this that people bring to the technical session. Do they want their rain garden? Where they want their rain garden? Is it full sun? What kind of soil is it? Is it a well-drained area? Is it steep slope or mild slope or flat area? So those are things we look at. Some people actually sketch out their rain garden. I think we've got a picture of one here. So they sketched out their property. They show where the roof is here. They show where they have a rain barrel, and they want a rain garden here to take the overflow from the rain barrel. All right. Now they have a patio here and a tree here. And we thought, well, maybe they could a couple downspouts here. We thought, well, maybe we could capture these downspouts in maybe another rain garden around here. So this gives us an opportunity to identify other spots for them to put rain gardens into. And you can see somebody spent a lot of time putting this together, and it was really, really very helpful in the session. And then we sit down with them for a technical session. A lot of times we're doing this online now, where we all log into Zoom and we're designing this online with them, Zoom, pulling in different pictures of plants and pulling in the aerial photograph of their property. So it's a really pretty cool tool to use, right? So in summary, the rebate program works as such. We have to attend the educational workshop so that you know what a rain garden is, you know what you're getting into. You attend a technical session with a designer who helps you design it. We prefer native plants. You don't have to use native plants though. We will not fund you if you're using an invasive plant. So you're putting bamboo in your garden, we're not going to reimburse you for that. Okay. If you're a renter, you need to get a signed agreement from the property owner because we don't want you building a garden and the property owner say, no, you can't do that and have to take it down. And then we ask you to kind of pledge that you're going to keep the garden at least 5 years. Now, if you sign this pledge and we come out in 4.5 years and you got rid of the garden, there's not a lot we can do. It's basically a handshake and an agreement between two environmentalists that we're going to do our best to keep this in place. So that's how that works. So the rebate that we typically give out, people build a rain garden, they call us, we go out and inspect it. We give them $3 per square foot. So basically, if they build a certain size rain garden, we figure out how much it's going to cost. The most we give a property owner was $450. So some people will build like 3 small rain gardens that total 150 square feet and get the whole 450. So that was really nice. Minimum size of a rain garden was 25 square feet. We don't think that if you build anything smaller than that, you're really going to be able to effectively manage a lot of stormwater. Some rebate programs give out more money than this. Okay, but this is what we were allocated from the grants that we had received. And here's some examples. So you see on the left is the design, the right's the construction. You can see they show the sidewalk, they show where the north is. The dimensions 8 foot by 16 by 15. The different plants that they have: red twig dogwood, bee balm, coreopsis, black-eyed Susan, cardinal flower, Joe pie weed, purple coneflower, and you can see how they're clustered together. Now these plants are all picked out by the property owner. They liked the color of the plants. They thought they were nice. We had plant sheets they could look at, and you can see here it was installed. Here's another one here, basically taking driveway runoff, sump pump runoff, roof runoff, all going down here into the system. And you can see here's another one. This is interesting as we designed the rain garden just to have this downspout, just a small thing. And then this person went a little bit crazy, included this downspout, more stone, made it a bigger garden, basically turned their whole front yard into a garden. So we encourage that. It's great. They only got the $450 rebate, but it's a really beautiful system. And they use hostas in here. I wouldn't really put hostas in my rain garden because I got deer in my yard, and hostas like lettuce for deer. But but you can see they put that there, and so a lot of people take different plants that they like and can use them or harvest them from other parts of their yard. Here's another design, a lot of driveway designs, there's another design taking runoff from the neighbor's driveway into the garden. And you can see here's another one where the whole front yard was done basically into a big rain garden. And then here's one here. This is a nice one. This is interesting. It's taking a overflow from a rain barrel, right? This rain barrel here, it kind of dumps in here, but it's a very manicured garden. It's got discrete plants surrounded by mulch. It's not that natural wildflower meadow look that I kind of like, but they tend to like this a lot. So here's some lessons that we learned from this process. When we surveyed people about the rebate program, what we found out was that um, while the rebate was great, getting the money, what they truly appreciated was having access to an engineer and a landscape architect. If you ever try to call a landscape architect or engineer to come to your house for half an hour, they're going to want to charge you a few $100s. So this is kind of like a free service. And a lot of people would come in and we designed them a rain garden, but they'd also ask us other questions about drainage issues they were having, and we would help them address those too, and talk a little bit about that and make some recommendations to them. So that was really, really useful. We found that when we do local projects, it tends to help with the rebate program. So in other words, if we built a rain garden at the library, the municipal building, the church, or the school, and people can go see that, that tended to make them want to have one at their house too. So that was really a good part about this. And um, the last thing that we found was a lot of people come and get the design, and they realize they really don't have the capacity on their own to dig out a 100 square foot rain garden, 10 foot by 10 foot, and they need some help. They're retired, bad back, a bad knee, whatever. We had a woman who was pregnant, wanted one, and so we actually at some point we were loaning our students out to go out and help people dig them out. And that technical assistance, that really was helpful for a lot of people to move them forward. So we had a waiver where people can actually fill out a form and send it in and ask for that technical assistance. And if we were available to do it, we would provide it to them. So, and then you could see, here's some of the pictures. Um, just really, really nice systems and a great way to do your part to save the planet. And lots of photos, right? So there are other resources here. We've got a rain garden manual that we have available to people. You can take a look at this, available online as a PDF. And there's a rain garden app that University of Connecticut put together, and we have included our New Jersey stuff in their app. So when you open the app, you click on New Jersey, and all New Jersey specific information will come up. Okay. Here's my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. Most of these rebate programs were funded by either New Jersey DEP, Sustainable Jersey, ANJAC through one of their grant programs. So there's a lot of different opportunities to get small pots of money. I think New Jersey American Water may have funded a couple of them. So it's fairly easy to be able to get a little bit of money to kind of do this in your town. And it's a great way to kickstart a rain garden initiative in your community. Thanks, Avery.
Thank you, Chris. There is a lot of excitement about rain gardens and rain barrels in Ocean County, we've been finding with homeowners. So it's great to have these resources to connect people with, and hopefully it encourages them to take that next step and start it in their own yards. So very good. Thank you so much, Chris.